There is no reason we should be the only major country not to have health care, not to have paid family and medical leave, et cetera, et cetera. Why we have the highest rate of childhood poverty, almost any major country. 22% of our seniors living on $15,000 a year. Anybody here think that makes sense? No. All right, it doesn't. But you got to get CNN to talk about these issues. You got to get your members of Congress to talk about these issues.
We're literally talking about it right now.
Yeah, but I'm forcing you to talk about it, Anderson.
This is Joe. We invited you.
In this clip, Senator Bernie Sanders does a town hall conversation on CNN with anchor Anderson Cooper. And it's impassioned, as you would expect. It's an interesting clip. This is a shorter one. I've done another video of this, and you can find this certainly on CNN's site. But there's no secret. I'm a big Bernie fan, and I'm assuming many of you are as well. Let's watch this together. I will have some opinions, and then I want to know what you think in the comments. Let's check it out.
Welcome back to our live CNN Town Hall. We're back with Senator Bernie Sanders. I want to introduce Grace Thomas. She's a local civil rights attorney. She's a Democrat. Grace?
They, them pronouns, actually. Thank you.
Oh.
Good evening, Senator Sanders. Polling and turnout data indicate that men of all racial demographics are turning away from the Democratic Party. But of course, white men in particular do not feel that the DNC's messaging targets them and the issues that they care about. Should progressive campaigns craft policies and messaging to better encapsulate these voters? And if the answer is yes, how do they do so without abandoning marginalized voters of color and gender?
Okay, thank you for the question, Grace. Look, it is no great secret that in America, people have strongly different points of view, right? On abortion, for example, I believe very much that women have a right to control their own bodies. People disagree with me. I believe that we've got to combat homophobia. I believe in gay marriage. My state helped lead the way on that. Not everybody agrees with me. I believe that we got to end all forms of bigotry, et cetera, et cetera. Not everybody agrees with me. But you know what, Grace? On many economic issues, there is widespread agreement. And the failure of the Democratic Party, in my view, has been they have not been aggressive in standing up to powerful corporate interests in laying out an agenda and implementing an agenda that speaks to the needs of the working class. All right, I'm going to ask you guys a question. He's asking me questions all night. I'm going to ask you a question. All right. Raise your hand if you think that the American healthcare system is working. Raise your hand if you think the American healthcare system is not working. All right, let me rephrase the question. Raise your hand if you think the American healthcare system is working well. And how many people are raising their hands?
None.
Raise your hand if you think the American healthcare system is broken. Raise your hand.
Majority, everyone.
Not a majority, virtually everybody in the room.
And I can see behind that guy. But.
And that is, all right, question again. How many nations, wealthy nations in the world, do not guarantee health care to all people as a human right? Anybody know the answer? Which country? All right. Now, you're not going to hear much about that on corporate television. You're not going to hear much about that in the United States Congress. We're the only major country on earth that doesn't guarantee health care to all people. 85 million of us are uninsured or underinsured. 60,000 die each year because we can't get to a doctor on time. That's the bad news. You know what the good news is? The insurance companies are making tens of billions of dollars every year denying you coverage. The drug companies charge us the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs. So how does it happen that in the wealthiest country in the history of the world, we're spending twice as much per capita as the people in other countries, and yet we have one of the worst outcomes, healthcare outcomes, of any country on earth? And it gets back to money in politics and the domination of big money, in this case, insurance companies, drug companies, over the Republican and Democratic.
I want to try.
This is, of course, a sticking point again and again. Is that you hear it from the right, you hear Donald Trump. We hear again and again that we are the richest country in the world. We're the richest country in the world. 3 people control more wealth than the lower 60% of the rest of our population, 350 or some million of us. But then Trump's messaging is always, we need to make America wealthy again, right? That we're being victimized and we need to make ourselves wealthy again, right? Well, if we're already the richest country in the world, he's not really talking about America getting wealthy again. we hear all the rest of us getting wealthy again, but he hasn't detailed that part of the plan, right? What we see is those three guys and the rest of the 400 families that control the 75% of the wealth in this country. What we're seeing is their wealth going up, whereas we haven't seen a change in our minimum wage, obviously healthcare and everything else they're talking about in this video. So that fundamental disconnect for me of we are the richest country in the world, but oh man, we got to fix this. We got to make ourselves wealthy again with these policies, with these tax cuts that overwhelmingly benefit the wealthy, with $1 trillion military budget that benefits no one so much as Elon Musk and his companies. I think people are starting to realize that this is, it's a bait and switch, it's a shell game, it's a con. And I think we need the people, a significant portion of the people that supported Trump on the basis of this message of like, let's fix this. He has no intention of fixing it. It's a rip and run. To sort of wake up. And Bernie, I love him. I think he admits he's aged out of being a presidential run. I don't know if people are ready to elect an AOC or not. She is a woman. She is, a woman of some color, kind of New York mocha, as I think of it. And I don't know if America is ready for that. And she's young. I love her. I think she's a firebrand. I love her in the way that I love Bernie Sanders. But I'm not sure if we're ready to elect her. I'm not sure we're ready to elect a Pete Buttigieg. I don't know. I'll get back to the video here. I want to know what you think about this at the end. Let me know in the comments.
Get some more of our audience questions. Joel,
no, I know you do, but I want to talk about...
I know.
No, I want to, sometimes these issues about healthcare, about income and wealth inequality are not talked about in the corporate media, and it's time that we did talk about them. That's why the question a moment ago, why are people losing faith in the American system? We don't talk about it on CNN. We don't talk about it in Congress. It's because they understand that a handful of billionaires exert enormous influence. And that has got to change. So when I'm running around the country with Alexandria and other people, what we are trying to do is demand that working class people begin to stand up and fight for their rights. There is no reason we should be the only major country not to have health care, not to have paid family and medical leave, et cetera, et cetera. Why we have the highest rate of childhood poverty. Almost any major country. 22% of our seniors living on $15,000 a year. Anybody here think that makes sense? No. All right, it doesn't. But you got to get CNN to talk about these issues. You got to get your members of Congress to talk about these issues.
We're literally talking about it right now.
Yeah, but I'm forcing you to talk about it, Anderson.
This is Joel. We invited you. This is Joel Pritikin. He's a student at American University, originally from Venice, California. He's president of the College of Republicans. Joel.
Hey, Joel.
Hi, Bernie. I wanted to give you kind of a softball question. Who on the other side have you worked the best with as a senator?
I've worked with a couple of people. And it's funny. I'll give you an example. Rand Paul is kind of a maverick on the Republican side. But Rand worries very much about authoritarianism. And so he and I have worked on some of those issues. Mike Lee and I have worked on trying to make sure that Congress, not the president, has the power to declare, the constitutional power to declare war. I worked with Roger Marshall from Kansas on trying to expand community health centers. So there are Republicans that I admire and work with. We disagree on a whole lot of issues. But we do try.
Well, this clip cuts off there on CNN, but you can definitely go and watch the whole town hall on their channel, which I think is worth it. It's interesting. And you might say, oh, well, these are already left-leaning people in the audience. But the point is the topics that they discuss apply to all of us, regardless of where you fall on the political spectrum. Anyway, I did a big chatty bit in the middle. I'm interested to hear what you all think in the comments because until we solve money in politics, I'm not sure that any of this is going to change. Let me know what you think.